Uh, yeah, hi Srivatsa. You can unmute yourself. Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the pre-placement talk of WIPRO Enterprises Private Limited for their Global Finance Leaders Program, class of 2023. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to this, and we will be monitoring the questions on chat. And if you have any, do put it on the chat window, or you can always write to us. You can unmute. Hi, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the pre-placement. You can always write to us at well.gfl@wipro.com. I would like to take a minute to introduce Srivatsa N. Srivatsa is the head of internal audit at WIPRO Enterprises and comes with 17 plus years of experience and over various roles in business finance and controllership, and now in internal audit. Before this stint, current stint in internal audit, Srivatsa was the CFO of WIPRO's Consumer Care India business. And like most of you who are on the call, Srivatsa joined WIPRO from campus. Over to you, Srivatsa. And I would also like to introduce, after Srivatsa's talk, Nishant Jain and Sudhanshu, who are the GFLs who joined WIPRO into this GFL program for the year back. Over to you, Srivatsa. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Naren. Thanks for the brief introduction, what you have given me. And thanks to MCC Jaipur for giving us an opportunity to showcase our company and what we offer to the freshly graduating chartered accountants of the new batch, and all the best to all the candidates. As Naren mentioned, I've joined WIPRO. A brief introduction about me is that I've joined WIPRO about 17 years back way back in 2005, and have grown in ranks in this organization right from the grassroots till the position of today what I had as head of internal audit. So I've worked in, as Naren said, I've worked in various roles. I started my career in controllership, then I moved to business finance, FP&A, and I have headed. I was part of the international finance group as a CFO for a small organization, which WIPRO acquired, and I'm in the last stint I was the CFO of the India operations. So that's brief about me. So now let us look at the opportunities which WIPRO as an organization, and WELL in particular, which is a sister concern of WIPRO Limited, has to offer to the freshly graduating chartered accountants. So just to give a brief about our organization, as many of you would know, WIPRO is one of the oldest and oldest companies in India, well respected for various reasons. The main reason we know all WIPRO is because of Mr. Azim Premji. He's one of the great philanthropists in India. So we started the company way back in 1945 as WIPRO. WIPRO stands for Western India Vegetable Products Limited. We were into foods at that point in time. We used to deal with a product called Vanaspati, and slowly we have moved from just being a food company to a big conglomerate, starting from vegetable foods to IT, transition to hardware, software, IT services, infrastructure, and we have grown in number. Today we stand roughly about a 10 billion company put together as an organization. So as can be seen from the PPT, we got registered. We started in 1945, but we got registered in BSE in 1947. Can we go to the next slide, Naren? So we have always had two major components. One is IT and non-IT. Just to get a better focus on the non-IT sector, because we were way too big and we were always getting recognized as an IT company. In 2013, the board decided to demerge the non-IT part of the organization. The non-IT part was renamed as WIPRO Enterprises Private Limited, and the IT part continues to be WIPRO Limited. So going to the next slide. as can be seen on the screen. So basically, WIPRO as a family has two major entities. One is WIPRO Limited, which is purely IT and IT services, while WIPRO Enterprises has its presence in two major industries. One is FMCG. We are one of the largest FMCG companies in India, and also we are into WIPRO infrastructure. Basically, we manufacture cylinders which are required for all the JCB and other infrastructure manufacturers in the country. So we are a very wide and big conglomerate. We are into various types of industries, diversified not only into the consumer care infrastructure, but we also have a hand in medical equipment, where we have a joint venture with WIPRO, with GE, and into manufacturing of machineries along with WIPRO Kawasaki. As an organization, we are a strong company. WIPRO Enterprises has a strong company with 14,000 plus labor force, and we are present across 22 nationalities. And 60%, we are proud to say, from the diversity angle, we are very proud that we have gender diversity, ethnic diversity. We respect each other. So we are truly a multinational company in that sense. So as we might have seen, and we are driven by these core values in WIPRO. So these are the 4 core values which every WIPROite is driven for. We are very passionate about our not only our success but also the client success. We treat each other with a lot of respect. That is where the individual excel in, and they can be respected amongst others. We are global and truly responsible, and we have an unyielding integrity. When we say unyielding integrity is nothing but doing the right thing even when nobody is seeing you. So that is what we always do. We always aspire to be, and we always strive to be. As mentioned before, we are spread across 22 nationalities. We are present in all the major continents, both physically as well as an organization. We are present across, though in Australia is the only place where we are not present as an enterprises limited, but we're still there in WIPRO Limited. We have about 10 manufacturing facilities in India and about 15 manufacturing facilities outside India. This is in both WIPRO Consumer Care as well as in WIPRO Infrastructure. Just a brief summary of Consumer Care as to what we do. We are one of the fastest growing consumer care companies in India. While WIPRO, people might be surprised as to what is that we do. When we talk about our brand, people would always say, yes, this is the brand which we know. We are about approximately about $1.5 billion organization in consumer care business. Now, we have India business as well as international Southeast Asia business. The revenue is roughly about 50-50 in both the geographies. Our strongest presence is in India, apart from in India, has been in Malaysia, China, Singapore, Indonesia, Vietnam. These are the strong companies where we are in. As far as the brands are concerned, we have about 35 brands in consumer care. The largest brand which everybody would know and has a household name is Santur. Santur is if I'm right, it is the largest soap selling company in India, maybe one or two as a brand. When you look at, we are the strongest brands of not only Santur. We have Yardley, we have Chandrika, we have Soft Touch, we have Hygienics. These are the brands which we are very well known for. Each brand, some of you might know it is WIPRO, but majority of them, generally when we speak, they are surprised to some. These are WIPRO brands. We believe in building the brand by its own name rather than because each individual brand has its own presence apart from the company which it's related to. In international business, our strongest presence is in Malaysia, Singapore, China, Indonesia, Vietnam. and Philippines. Southeast Asia has generally been on an inorganic growth. We have acquired companies there where we feel the brands are very strong. Are one of the strongest brands internationally. We have Enchanter, Romano, Bioessence. We have Splash. These are the strongest brands which we have in Southeast Asia. Apart from consumer care in FMCG business, apart from consumer care, the other divisions which we have is of lighting. In lighting, basically, we are spread across into two. One is domestic lighting, which is basically the CFL lights, the LED lights, which is used for household. And the other one is on institutional lighting business, which are basically all the lighting solutions required for any corporate offices across India. So these are the two businesses which we are in. One we call the consumer business, other one is institutional business. Consumer business basically are into domestic households whom we buy from local kirana stores, mom and pop stores. While institutional business, we focus on the corporates and their lighting solution requirements. The other business we have is of the seating business. Till recently, we were into furniture as well, which we have exited. But we are now big time into seating business because we see a lot of opportunities in the same institutional space where any organization have to have a seating facility, and what are their needs, what are their aesthetics which they require for is what we look into. So basically, if you see in consumer care, these are the businesses broadly which we have. One is consumer care business, which is FMCG. The other one is domestic consumer lighting and institutional lighting. And the third part is the seating solutions. Now coming to the other big division which we have within WELL and with other than consumer care is our hydraulics division. We are the largest manufacturers of hydraulic cylinders in India. We are from the market share perspective, again, we will always be in top 1, 2, 3s of the supply chain. We have a large business, and this business is also about $700 to $800 million on an annual basis. Within WIPRO infrastructure, we have hydraulics, we have infra engineering, which is basically into automation of a particular line in any big manufacturing facility. Recently, we have acquired an entity by name WIPRO Pari. Their main activity is automation of entire production line. This is one of the key things which are required in the current where India is driving towards to be presented as a manufacturing hub. And in manufacturing process, one of the key things which will drive the efficiency is the automation of the manufacturing process. And this is where we have entered into, and we feel a lot of traction and growth in this sector. The other divisions which we have is in additive manufacturing infrastructure. Though it is very nascent in its stage, but is a very revolutionary product. We are into 3D manufacturing, the design manufacturing which is required, which will synergize with our manufacturing process in automation as well as in infrastructure building of the cylinders. Next. We are also into aerospace. As you can, we can keep on talking about much more, and people can reach out if you want to know details of it, which is also available in our website. As you can see, we are into every part of the industry where we see there is a huge traction, not only in the current time space, but also what we see for the future. This is one of the things where we are into, where we supply parts to aeronautical companies like Airbus and other large aerospace companies. We are also into WIPRO Water. We understand the importance of water and the water treatment and the recycling of water. So we are also present in the water. So as you can see, we are all present in whichever critical industry where we feel an opportunity to grow, where we are responsible for the public in general, for the nation in general, where we see we have to give something back. to the public. So that is where we have entered into. So that was briefly about our organization as to what all industries we are present in. Now next comes what we offer within the finance division for people who qualify specifically from chartered accountancy and commerce in general. These are the various functions, as you can see, these are the various functions which is there in finance, and each of which comes with its own area of expertise. The program which we run in our organization is called a GFL program, which is Global Finance Leaders Program, where we pick the chartered accountants who are very promising, have a positive attitude, and want to achieve success in whatever they do. They are rotated into all these divisions, all these functions within the finance. They are allowed to work with all the business leaders, get to interact with senior management, so that they can get a holistic view of what all happens within the finance function in an organization. So the key things which we have is basically in any organization is the controllership function. We are the bread and butter. They are responsible for maintaining the books, followed by, say, a business finance where you are closely knitted with the business leaders there. You will follow up with what strategy to go for, what the contributions which company is making at both product level at the segment level. Controllership and business finance generally go hand in hand, and basically these are the bread and butter of any finance function. The other functions, if you see, these are all specialist roles where, depending upon the candidate's interest and his area of focus, legal and secretarial, tax, treasury are basically a very niche and specialized functions where people we would want them to see what they are from the GFL program, while the people who will land are only people who will want to have a deep dive analysis in all these functions. Of course, internal audit, people generally start with internal audit, get to know all the areas or divisions of the organization, and then move on to other functions. So these are basically the broad functions which we have in the finance. It depends upon how the leaders find and how the GFLs find. So as mentioned, from here, if Naren wants to take over, he can take, or I'll just brief, and if I missed anything, Naren can add. The GFL program basically is a year-long program for freshly qualified chartered accountants who get selected in this. The first 6 months, generally people are given a role which they will work for. It can be either an internal audit function or a business function or a controllership functions, which will be followed by 2 projects for 2 months each. The purpose of having this 6-2-2 is for all the candidates who get selected to work with various departmental and functional heads and to know the organization. It is a part of the induction program. The skill which we want the candidates to acquire in this period is, one, understand the business, as I said. Second, to show what they have theoretically, what they have learned, and apply the same thing in practice. Because these the fresh legs and fresh eyes will come out with their own thought process, with their own with our own set of mindset, which the normal people in the functions will not be able to see. We expect them to value add at this level, interact with them, and gain more confidence. You will be exposed to senior management at this level, to make presentations to them, to convince them. This is what makes this GFL program a very successful and a challenging one. Generally, any person who's joining in the organization at a level below managers are not exposed to the senior management. However, in this GFL program, the one which we do is just to see the confidence level of the candidates as to how they interact with navigate in the organization, how they interact with the senior management, and what is the thought process, what is the fresh thought process which they are bringing into the system. And finally, this 1 year, once this 10 months to 1 year program is done, they will be placed in the landing role as decided by the management and as required by the management. So this is how it looks like. As I mentioned, first will be the onboarding, the induction. So you will be navigating through the senior people as well as your peers. The second is you will be assigned to one of the function for the first 6 months. Either it's internal audit or the business finance or the controllership, where you will try to learn the nitty-gritties of each of those functions. Next will be within the same period, you will also be exposed to a lot of training programs, which is headed by, we have a separate training training program which we have in this organization, which is again led by Naren and his team, where we give opportunity for people to learn different aspects, be it from the point of view of learning, acquiring new skills apart from whatever we have learned in finance, say like programming or in analytics. These are the things which specifically designed for the GFLs is the training program which we have. Along with that, you will have a project presentation for the next 4 months, followed after the 6 months, which is basically into specific projects where people have to will be given to lead the project independently and drive with proper outcomes. So these are the key things which happens in the first 6 to 10 months. From here, I'll leave Naren to explain. If I missed something, Naren can just cover me up. I will leave Naren to explain the selection process and the compensation part.
Thank you, Srivatsa, so much. Thank you. You've covered all the aspects. You have had GFLs in your team, and you have also mentored quite a few of them and seen them grow, not just in the last batch, but since 2019 when we have started this program. So you've covered it very well and in depth. So nothing much to add there. So here, this is the easy part for me to explain. One is that the compensation, which is 11.5 lakhs per annum. This is your CTC. Post 28 months of your joining, you get an engagement bonus of 2 lakh rupees. That is the compensation part. The posting locations are in Bangalore and WIPRO branch offices and factory locations across India. And the final posting can be anywhere in any one of these locations or in India or abroad. So that is broadly how we look at positioning people who complete the GFL program after their first year. Now, coming back to the selection process, first you have to apply by registering at the link that you would have got. I think MCC Jaipur might have circulated it. If it is not there, if you don't have it, I'll ask Smita to put the link on the YouTube chat. Also, I'll ask Smita to put our email address where you can reach us on the YouTube chat window, the live chat window, so that you can reach us on that particular email ID. So those who are not watching live and will be watching a recording of this, for their benefit, I would just leave the email ID with, I'll just voice out the email ID. It is wel.gfl@wipro.com. So well.gfl@wipro.com. Do write to us and we'll get back to you if you have any queries. So first you have to apply by registering at the given link, and after that there'll be an online written test, post which there'll be a extempore speech. You would be given a topic and you would be asked to speak on that topic. You'll be given a minute or two to prepare, and then you are given a minute or two to speak on that. And this is done in a group typically. So it's sort of a group discussion, but not exactly the group discussion. Thereafter, you go through personal interviews of technical round and HR technical rounds and HR round, and thereafter you meet the CFO, and the final offer is made. And the last part is where we welcome you to WIPRO Enterprises. The eligibility that we have put as a company is we are only November 22 qualified CAs. That is the results that were out in January 2023. And up to a max of 2 attempts in final and minimum of 55% in finals, average of both groups put together. There also, if you have any questions, do write to us. We will be happy to respond to you with whatever your query is in that regard. we would expect you to join us by 16th of February, because that is how our business cycle works. Now, I know this might not be ideal, and we might be rushing things a bit too aggressively. But one message I wanted to leave with you also, which might have which you might have got also when Srivatsa was speaking about it, is that in WIPRO Enterprises, business is the center of everything that we do. So we as finance people are not support functions merely, but we are also equally business minded and business people as much as any other function in the company. So anything that we do, it's around business. So our business cycles are like that, and therefore we expect you to join by 16th of February. So that is all that I had on the selection process and compensation. On the compensation part, I just wanted to leave one thought with you, is that there are many companies that pay you different salaries and lower or higher or whatever. So the question that will be there at the back of your mind is that, where do I join? If I were to give this advice to anybody, and I'm sure that 15 years from hence, when you are a 15-year experienced chartered accountant or 20-year experienced chartered accountant after 20 years, the advice you would give to youngsters at that time would be that join a company that is a good company, that is ethical, and where you get freedom and opportunity. These are few things that are underrated. So that is beyond that. Quantifying that into a per annum salary package or something like that is impossible. You can't quantify that part. But over and above all that is that the experience and the kind of projects that we put you through, and also the experience that we give you by just training you and upskilling you from where you are to today. So that is what I would leave that thought with you. And in the next stage, I would like to introduce the two GFLs that we have on the call with us, Nishant Vij and Sudhanshu Karn. So Nishant, I would request you to go first and unmute yourself and introduce yourself and speak to the people who are listening on the YouTube video.
Hi, Naren. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I'm Nishant from Delhi. So since Naren has already taken you through the GFL program in detail, I'll just let you know my experience. So for the first 6 months, I was allocated into the internal audit department, where I audited 2 factories for CCLG. And it was a great experience because I got to know how a factory works from top to bottom, finance, operations, even compliance, how it works. So it was a great learning curve. And on top of that, if you had any questions regarding anything, the leadership doors were always open. So it was a great stint for first 6 months. I got to learn a lot of new things. And next, I was allocated a project into controllership, which was again new thing for me. I did not know how controllership department is used to working. So it again was a great learning curve for me, and I learned a few things that I didn't know before. So regarding on top of that, there is masterclass. So every month we used to have 2 or 3 master classes regarding international taxation, or maybe Python or Power Pivot or Power BI. So it was basically, currently there is a need for a 360-degree corporation, which looks at every aspect of the corporation basically. And for that 360-degree corporation, I think there is a need of a 360-degree professional. So I think this program will groom you to be a 360-degree professional, so that everything you can do it properly. So yeah, that's it. That's all I want to say. I would hand it over to Sudhanshu.
Yeah, hi Sudhanshu, over to you.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, I think, but something is echoing. You see that.
Yeah, I think I'm audible now, correct?
Yes, Sudhanshu, please go ahead.
Yeah. So there was some issues here, so no problem. So yeah, I'm Sudhanshu. I'm from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. So I also joined as Nishant in internal audit for the initial 6 months. So in the initial 6 months, I did 2 branch audits, which are the major branches of consumer care and lighting business, which is Bhiwandi, Mumbai, and Ahmedabad. So during that stint, I realized how important the sales team is and how important the logistic functions in a company is. So all the sales happen through branches, the secondary sales happen through branches. You understand the intricacies of sales, intricacies of the claim process and everything around that. Then as a part of this branch audits, I realized the finance functions as well, like how the SAP works, how the SAP is integrated in the system. There are various softwares linked with the SAP, which is Pulse, Wisdom, as well as your Synapse tools, which are different tools incorporated in the system to help you analyze the secondary sales and keep a track of how much the demand is going to be forecasted and so on and so forth. And then I did my next audit in a completely different industry, which was robotics and automation business, which is PARI. I did the audit in procurement, P2C, P2P, and right from the initial stages of how the order is placed, how the procurement is done, and how the payment cycle is, and at the end, analyzing all the intricacies of industrial and configurable projects which are being placed there. So if you see a robot, you get very fascinated, right? But what goes on building that robot? What are the designs? How the design team functions? And a cluster of all the departments which comes together to build and deliver a project, which is really fascinating and interesting to know about. So this was my first stint. Then I did my project in business finance for the consumer care business, where I was given a problem statement relating to the modern trade claims management, where I had to handle different stakeholders, right from the sales head of the modern trade to the sales team, to the branches team, right from the account executives, regional managers, account managers, and reporting to the CFO of the consumer care business. So this was an integrated project where I had to manage different stakeholders as well as deliver at the timelines given to me, which is of 2 months. And being in such a position where you have a strict timeline, you have different multiple stakeholders, you get to experience that kick of being there at the right time. Then you realize you're at the right time and at the right place where you're going to learn so much of things when you get a project like this, where you have so much of things to learn from. And I'm doing my second project also in the business team, which is yet amazing, another amazing project. So I would like to say this program gives you a holistic view of how the business functions with your initial 6 month stint, and then gives you a project which is actually a real case-based project where you have to deliver within the timelines, where you get to learn from the scratch and get help of all the leaders, right from the CFO level to all the managers who are ready to support you, who are ready to guide you and make you learn. And the best part is you get to be challenged in your weak spots. We all have weak spots, correct? So it gives us the edge to actually help us improve on our weak spots and improve on our goals that we want in life. And as Nishant mentioned, the master classes, for me, the best was the data analytics. It helps you reduce a lot of clutter tasks that we do in daily life and present our data more in a more presentable way, in a more structured manner. And that was the best part. And yeah, that's it from my side.
So thank you so much, Sudhanshu and Nishant, for sharing your experiences in the program. Thank you, Srivatsa, for taking us through the company, what the company represents, and also about the GFL program as such. Thank you, MCC Jaipur, for hosting us today for the pre-placement talk. And as I mentioned, those who are watching it live or who are watching it later on, do drop in a note if you have any questions about the program to well.gfl@wipro.com. Thank you very much and have a nice evening or whenever you're watching, whatever the time of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Naren. Thank you, Srivatsa.
Thank you. Bye.